Welcome to Full Court Fits, the show that takes you around the world of NBA fashion while also bringing you the latest, greatest, biggest news in sneaker culture today. I'm Big Waz. Let's go. First up, Jordan Clarkson of the best story in the NBA, in my opinion, the Utah Jazz. Man, first of all, let me just say this. I'm somebody who's championed Jordan Clarkson's personal style for like years now. I just thought he was one of the only people having a lot of fun and being creative and not taking himself too seriously. However, man, I'm not gonna lie. I think like a lot of these dudes get embraced by the European high fashion houses and they just start drinking the Kool-Aid. And they just start doing stuff that's just out there. This is an example of a theme that I've been hitting y'all with all season, man. These terrible Rick Owens boots and a jacket. It's not, I guess it's not terrible, the jacket, but in conjunction with those boots and the Rick thing it's getting to be crazy, especially amongst this set. This just doesn't do it for me, man. Like, I'm all for a monochromatic black look. To me, that's always in vogue, always in fashion. But this is cartoonish. This is tomfoolery. I'm dropping this. Next up, we got Evan Fournier of the New York Knicks. You see the Louis, of course, the Louis varsity. Pretty hard. It's tough. Hermes hat, not mad at it. And the trousers are from the row. Air Force Ones, white on whites, that's just a given. That's a staple. Listen, this is what I will say about Evan Fournier. The guy's from France, right? At least he's of this culture. It makes more sense for him to be doing this. It's like he is native to it. It's in his bones. Same with all kinds of other regional looks, white tees and all this other stuff. Like, we might not have necessarily thought it was great style, but we accepted it. And I think the same can be said about Evan Fournier. I don't want to be hypocritical and be like, oh, he's doing the designer thing, but like, he's European. I gotta let him do what he does. And he doesn't look terrible. I'm gonna cop this. Last but certainly not least, Donovan Mitchell playing at an MVP level at the moment of the Cleveland Cavaliers here. He's rocking a rugby and some cargo pants from a brand called Back of House. This is a really cool brand because it's from an NFL Super Bowl champion, a brother by the name of Rodney McLeod. He's a DC native. He started his own brand because he's got a real passion for clothes and style, and he wanted to make some accessible, really cool stuff. I think it's dope that Donovan Mitchell is supporting him here. This is like the kind of thing that you or I could walk into a store and buy. It's not overly priced. It's not this crazy Amiri or Palm Angels or any of that kind of stuff. And, I think it's dope. Donovan Mitchell also rocking Celine sneakers. Now, I don't know that I would advise you guys to buy glorified Stan Smiths for $700. However, if you wanted to, you could achieve this look, and it's at an affordable rate. And I think Rodney McLeod does a great job with this brand, man. So check out Back of House when y'all get a chance to. Shouts to Donovan Mitchell, copping this fit. A few weeks ago, we talked about Adidas finally deciding to sever ties with Kanye West after what, the horrible anti-Semitic things that he said were hateful, fucked up, and dangerous. But this is of a piece with unhinged, crazy behavior going back to 2018. He's just been on a tear for 4 years of hideous statements, and they culminated in him finally losing his deal with them, which I think is completely justified just based off of how insane the guy's been in public. Like, who wants to be a business partner with him? And Adidas got some credit, and they said we're no longer dealing with Kanye and all of that. But of course, capitalism rears its ugly head once again. Recently, Adidas had an earnings call with investors where they announced that they're gonna put out their existing inventory that's Yeezy related. I'm sure Ye will get his money for it. And in the future, they're gonna put out the designs, the silhouettes, without the Yeezy branding on it. But it's gonna be those sneakers and apparel or whatever that they own the rights to, and they've decided that they're gonna put them out because, guys, they're a business and they wanna make money. And the only reason they were in business with Kanye West, even after as ridiculous as he was, is he made them a lot of money. This doesn't jibe with moral stance and moral fortitude and standing in the face of bigotry and hate and all of that. This doesn't jibe with that, but honestly, man, I don't know why we would expect anything else from a corporation, especially a publicly traded one. There's another part that I don't think gets talked about in this Kanye and Adidas discussion, and that's like, yeah, Kanye spearheaded this Yeezy Adidas partnership, but like Adidas paid for the R&D. Adidas paid his co-designers. Adidas paid for the manufacturing. They paid for the marketing. They bankrolled all of the ancillary things that aren't part of just Ye and the force of nature that he is. They bankrolled all the other things that goes into making something a successful product. What remains to be seen is how the public, the consuming public that made this a popular product, how they're going to react. I think that's such a fascinating case study in hype, in what really matters to the consumer, in so many things having to do with sneaker culture today. So I'll be watching this and paying attention really closely because, man, this is just a fascinating story. All right, our next story concerns another beleaguered guy, Kyrie Irving, who has been suspended by the Nets for sharing anti-Semitic propaganda, essentially, on his social media. Nike has now decided they're severing ties with the guy. They're not going to put out his Kyrie 8. He signed with them since 2011, but the signature line dates back to 2014. That's now ending, and nobody should be surprised. And to be quite honest, man, I don't need to participate in a Kyrie pylon. I think we all understand that the shit that he put out needed to be denounced, and he put out an effective apology finally after, you know, an immense amount of pressure. I just will say, I just think this is justified. There's not a lot of evidence of Kyrie being a great partner, business partner, teammate, or otherwise. The situation in Cleveland blew up. The situation in Boston blew up. The situation in Brooklyn blew up. The situation with Nike blew up. This guy he's tough to work with. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, I don't think anybody's surprised by this outcome. And yeah, man, I just hope everything works out for all the parties involved. All right, last up, man, I wanted to get into something positive in sneakers right now. And that's why I wanted to talk about the A Ma Maniére 4s, how they've rolled out that release, and just how that company and the Whitaker Group just in general is treating their collaborations and the products that they put out. They put out a video basically promoting the shoe, but talking about trying to get out the vote and get people to exercise their voices in our democracy. And part of the raffle process for getting your hands on these A Ma Maniére 4s, they said, man, put out a video on Twitter or Instagram talking about a societal issue that means something to you, right? And that's how we're gonna pick our raffles, which one, it serves the purpose of trying their best to get those sneakers in the hands of the people and not these commercial interests in the reseller market, but also it's just about connecting their stuff to a bigger purpose than just money and being cool and all of that, which I think is cool. I don't want to be cynical about the kind of things and the kind of changes we can try to affect in the world collectively as a community. I'm sure it's going to be one of the most hyped releases of the year. But yeah, I'm a real big fan of what Whitaker's doing with several of his brands, and I think this is just one of the coolest things to date. All right, that was our show for today. Make sure you subscribe to The Ringer's YouTube page. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get an alert every single Friday when Full Court Fits drops. Make sure you're checking us out throughout the duration of the season, man. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.